Can it be an old one?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize it? No? You will. Still gives me goosebumps.
Really?
Yep.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, thank you for choosing that song. Let's
Yeah.
get rolling with this.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about a little bit of who you are and our relationship together? I can start with it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll jump in.
You were a yoga instructor for me in the
Yeah.
past,
Yeah.
and I was immediately amazed at the song choice you did in that yoga session. It made
Yeah.
me feel at ease, and it was honestly a sign at a point in my life where I needed one. Of course, that's my choice to make a sign out of things, but that one worked for me. It was the song Patience by the Lumineers, and I was laying there on the yoga mat, and I thought, okay, Anna needs to be one of the first people I interview on this podcast if I ever get the courage to do this thing. And here I am.
Yeah.
So it's a very cool full circle moment, and to which I say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for flattering me to the point of doing this with me. So.
Well, I think it's fun because, I mean, even the first time we met, I feel like just the words that we shared, it was just an automatic connection.
Yeah.
Like it just felt really chill. Like it was just a chill conversation. It always felt like it was almost like you're just a friend that you're passing by. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I always felt that with you. My music for my yoga classes are sometimes kind of out of a box,
Sure.
you know?
Which I appreciate for sure.
Yeah, I like to, I wanted myself to show up. I want true Anna to show up for all these people. And I think it's, for a long time, when I first was certified as a yoga teacher, before I started really teaching, I never felt like myself because I was watching all these other teachers and how they presented themselves and all these things. And I was like, oh, I have to do this to be a yoga teacher. And my friend Georgia is actually what changed everything. I went to one of her classes and I was like blown away.
Oh, you can be unique when you do this.
She can be herself. It wasn't even, it was, she's just so unapologetically herself. And I was like, this is what I was looking for, with just how she cues and how she speaks, her music choice, just how she shows up in front of people. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to connect with people as me and not as someone else. So
that's awesome.
That's been my focus as a yoga teacher.
That's
so
amazing.
And my music is part of it. So, the Lumineers show up.
That's cool.
Nirvana shows up, the Grateful Dead shows up, all sorts of stuff. So
that's amazing.
All over the place.
Well, I'm glad you've got a scattered music taste because I definitely do too.
Yeah.
And it was such a good tell for me early on to realize you could be a friend for me, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I had definitely taken classes from you and never introduced myself. So I don't know, there was energy in the air that day, but I appreciate that class so much.
Yeah.
And then the continued friendship afterwards.
Yeah.
There was a very specific time where we got coffee and you shared your story with me. So I wanted that to be the bulk of this conversation today.
Yeah.
Where you talk about your transition, all the different lives you've already lived to get to where you are now, and essentially highlight your why.
Yeah.
Why you continue to find peace in the yoga mat, why you come back to this, and why there's no other thing you would rather be doing with your life. So that's a huge open-ended question. I'm going to guide you through it, but the first thing that comes to mind for me is a mohawk.
Yes. I don't know how old I was. 15? First time I shaved my head, I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment about my looks, it was which I had long hair at that time, this is new for me actually. I usually keep it short, but I had long hair and I had blue eyes, and it was like that was who I was to them. It was my long, beautiful hair and my blue eyes, and I was like, well, F that. So I shaved my head. I bleached the hair that was left.
That's awesome.
Dyed it teal. And started this, rebellion that lasted for years. Unhappy with my surroundings. I found a friend group, which at that time it was a rough crowd, but the ones that made it out are really amazing people, and I keep in contact with them even today. I don't regret anything that I've done, any of the things I've seen or been around, because it's shaped where I am and who I am today.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And you worked at a Steak and Shake.
Yes. I got hired at Steak and Shake when I was 16.
Yeah.
When I was 18, instead of going to college, I became a manager, which was honestly just a way for me to get out of my house and move on my own.
Yeah.
And I moved out with my 5 best friends
That's
in a
cool.
3-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom duplex with no air conditioning in Southern Broad Ripple.
Sounds like a mission.
It was something. So like, I think it was like $170 a piece.
That's
rent
awesome, yeah.
with all of us living there together. So obviously, like there were fights, but there were good times too. But it was a big deal. It was a big time. Steak and Shake, I learned a lot. I met people that I would never have crossed paths with.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people that are not the best people. Especially in management roles, a lot of men that didn't treat me very well. Being, I'm 5'3", I'm pretty small. I was young, so all these things. But you learn how to stand up for yourself and do the right thing. And I paid for someone's rent one time, like someone who was in a really bad place with the father of her children, and. Like she had 4 children, had no money, couldn't pay her rent, and I went to the bank and paid her rent. And she paid me back. I mean, there's a loyalty there, there's a trust that we had. And it's so funny because people are just like, Steak and Shake. It's like, but there's like a family to it. There's so
emblem.
Much to it.
It's a huge thing that stood for so many different other things that shaped you as a person.
Yeah. That's where I grew
huge.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up there. Like I learned so much. I was there for 11 years.
That's a long
which is
time.
Crazy to think about, yeah.
And disclaimer, Steak and Shake is a food and beverage restaurant. It's a place where 25 years ago you could smoke cigarettes inside.
Yeah.
And they had these like glass barriers,
Yeah.
which I think they banned that young in my childhood.
Oh yeah.
So while you were working there, were they
no,
still
the
smoke?
cigarettes were not there when I was there, but the glass separators were still in the booths. The Steak and Shake that I first was hired at was right by my high school on 86 in Westfield, which is no longer there. But that location, my dad, when he was going through his, he was a therapist, so when he was going through school, his college years, that's where he hung out because he could be there 24 hours and he drank coffee and smoked cigarettes and studied.
That's
awesome. That's what he did, yeah.
That's cool. I did not know your dad was a therapist, but it makes sense why you're so emotionally available and understand how to communicate with other people.
Yeah, a lot of tough talks with
Absolutely.
my dad. Yeah. So even when I shaved my head and dyed my hair teal, he was like, I don't care, you're still my kid. So as much as I wanted him to be mad and, that I did that, he never cared and he always accepted me for who I was. So
Did you ever see the movie Molly's Game?
No.
Okay. Random movie plug in there, but the dad is a therapist in there, and it reminded me of like a really important conversation, but total side tangent. I just get distracted easily.
I was grounded when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Because I did things I shouldn't be doing, and my punishment was like 30 days of being grounded. I wasn't allowed to go do anything, but he made me have like these nighttime talks. So we would go out. We had a screen and porch in the front, and we would sit around and we would talk. And I mean, looking back at it, he was making sure I was okay because what I was doing at that time was not very good for me. And he said anytime I said this punishment wasn't fair, he would add another day on. So I never said it.
Those are like grounding sessions. He's like bringing you back to earth.
Yeah. He passed away when I was 23. So it's been 10 years. And there was so much that was already there that now that I aged, I can go back and wow, he already taught me a lesson, 20 years ago and I had no idea. So it's pretty cool.
That's really special.
Yeah.
The ability to learn how to hear differently and actually listen over time. Yeah. That's huge on my life right now. It's I can't believe when people tell me something, they actually mean what they're saying. Because it used to just be this cryptic message for me growing up. And now that I'm at this point where I'm listening, life is different. It's fun.
Yeah, you connect differently when you actually listen to what people are saying.
I know.
Yeah, and you're not thinking about what you want to say.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
So Steak and Shake for, you said 11 years? That's amazing. So you're describing a person who is not who I see now. So describe some more filler information for how you got to this point. How'd you get from Steak and Shake managing? Did you ever manage a couple? Multiple?
I didn't do it at the same time, but I did run different locations.
Okay.
When I was 21, I had a new general manager that I couldn't get along with.
Yeah.
Which comes up a lot in my life, but he pretty much kicked me out. And I was transferred to a location I've never been to. It was Franklin and Washington on the east side of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So I walked in 21 years old, not knowing anyone, trying to be a hard ass to like everyone, you know, go to the rules and everything. But then I really like that, like I could be whoever I wanted because none of these people knew me.
Yeah.
You know, I could be whatever manager I wanted in that moment because they don't know who I am. So I learned a lot there as well.
Good.
Yeah. I had my daughter, Rosemary, and then after maternity leave, I ended up right back at the same Steak and Shake I started at.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So moved around a lot.
When did you decide enough was enough with Steak and Shake, and what was the next thing for you there?
That's a good story, actually. So if you were unaware, Steak and Shake did this big thing a few years back where they started franchising their locations. So they're trying to get people to invest like $10,000 and then you can franchise.
What Chick-fil-A is doing
It's
right
like
now.
whatever, yeah. So you get your own Steak and Shake. So I really wanted to do that. I wanted to be a business owner. I was like, this is great. I can do this. So I was meeting with someone as like I had some issues with some of the people who were higher up, but I had this like last meeting with one of the corporate people and they were coming in to see, and I like stayed up all night cleaning and like everything was set up and everything was perfect and I was ready to go and I'm so excited and it's going to happen and I'm going to franchise this location that I started at when I was 16 and all these things are falling into place. And she came in and was like, well, if you're not open 24 hours, we can't franchise your location. And the reason I started closing the night time was because it was unsafe for everyone involved, for customers and for the people working.
In that location, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had to hire cops for like high school, like football games and like things like that. So when she said that, I was like, if you can't see like everything that I bring to this space, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So I quit. I put my notice in, Starbucks picked me up, and that's where I went. Yeah. I was moved around Starbucks pretty quickly just because I had so much experience in management. I was at 5 locations in 6 months, I think. Like I was just moving around. You have to like interview for a permanent management role. And when you interview, you're signing up for 2 years before you can like go and interview for another location. So they always want like when you are interviewing for somewhere, like when it's on the market and you're like going for it, like you really have to invest yourself to that space. So I was floating around until, the perfect location opened up. And then I thought this location would never open up. It was 116th and Spring Mill Road. And I was like, I was in tears. Like, I was like, let me interview, get me in there. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. And then I took that store over January 20th, 2020. So 2 months before everything shut down. Yeah. And then when I started there, one of the shift supervisors, Isaac, who was amazing, he was like, they're opening a yoga studio like across the parking lot.
Were you practicing at that time?
Yes, I was.
Were you like teaching classes too?
I was not teaching at that time. I was just getting certified in 2020.
Nice.
When the pandemic hit, I was like, I kept my Starbucks open, which a lot of stores didn't do. A lot of people
you saying that.
Yeah, so
what a feat.
It was. I mean, every day when we finally closed, I would make like a little frappuccino, and I would go outside and walk around the parking lot like by myself just to like decompress because it was emotional. People were scared. Like no one knew what was going on, and I mean, people just wanted to get a cup of coffee because they had nothing else to do. It was like
a little shot of joy.
Exactly. It's like, what can we do to like kind of be like to bring something back, like some sort of normalcy to their lives. So I saw a lot of people in the drive-thru.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like Starbucks was a cornerstone of our rebuilding in that period. I feel like you could make that case.
Yeah.
And you were on the front lines of that.
It was, I had an emotional break at one point. Like I was in the back one day and I started hysterically laughing to the point where I started crying. And I was just like, I couldn't even control it. Like it was just all coming out. I worked like every day. Like I was
For like 14 hours a day, maybe?
Yeah, some of them were pretty long. By the end of it, because Starbucks was paying people to like stay home, or if the people that stayed working got hazard pay.
Okay.
So, but they based it off your average hours. So if I had a couple employees that had come with me from Steak and Shake, and they had just started, so their hours were like low. So if we had closed and they had stayed home for the pay that Starbucks was going to pay them, which is still really great, like that was an amazing thing that they did, they wouldn't have enough money to support their families. So like that was part of the reason why I decided to stay open, was that they could get as many hours as they needed, plus the hazard pay on top of it, so they can, feed the people in their house. Like
that's an important thing to do.
Yeah, so that was rough, but it was actually May the 4th, because I remember Star Wars Day, when we all came back together. So we were closed people went home and stayed home for a couple months. It was like every week a couple people would be like, I think I'm going to stay. Okay. I wasn't mad or anything. I was like, okay, that's fine. By the end of it, there was like 6 of us left, working. It was really rough. But like May the 4th, I remember pulling into the parking lot and seeing everyone's cars back and being like a sigh of relief, like that we could be back together again with masks. But it was I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that.
Good.
Like it was really amazing to see that, and everyone was just happy to be back together.
It's like the relief trips are coming in on the wharf. I can imagine what kind of feeling that would have been like.
Yeah.
It's deep emotion right there.
Yeah, when we think back to it, it's crazy to think about that we went through all that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as involved with a job at the time. It was my junior year of college, but I still had all the emotional flare-ups, and no one knew what was happening. Yeah. You didn't know if your friend was to blame for why you're feeling that way.
Exactly.
It's parents against kids. This is a weird time.
At North Central, the one of the coaches passed away from it. Like there's a bit like the new field house that they built at North Central is like named after Coach Logan. Like that's what's over there. I mean, it's really sad. People are dying. Like it's crazy to think about. I remember going to Target and getting groceries and putting them in my trunk and taking Lysol wipes and wiping everything off before I brought it in, because I had 2 small kids at that time. And they were, locked down. I was out in the public, so I was like, if they get sick, it's because of me, because I'm the only one bringing germs in to the. It was crazy to think. When no one knew what to expect, what to do.
I know. Yeah. What a weird time. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah.
But we've got this new rebuilding time period ahead of us where we just keep to. Will we get to make places like this?
Yes. Which.
You want to talk about where we are right now at all?
Yes, I'd love to. So we are sitting in Sagehouse. That is the name of the studio. Sage is my maiden name.
That is really cool.
Yes. So my son's middle name is also Sage. It's actually, I moved Sage to my middle name, so I have 2 middle names, the whole thing.
That's awesome.
So I've been wanting to open a yoga studio as one of the first times I probably practiced yoga. I was like, this is what I want to do. But I didn't know how I'd get to this point. Like there were everything kind of fell into place. But so I was telling you earlier, the studio was opened in 2013 and then closed in 2021 because of the pandemic. Yeah. A lot of gyms and studios, were hit pretty hard from that. And I kind of picked it up over the last couple months, and I'm turning it into something for me, I guess, and everyone else.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they took the walls down,
thinking
opening it up would bring a different business in, and here I am doing yoga again in the same spot.
And building more walls.
Yes, so we're going to put the walls back up. But there's still some really cool, like you're talking about the chandeliers and stuff from the doors. They kept all the original doors that were custom, and there's just really cool energy in here. Like when I felt it the first time I didn't even walk into the space. I just saw it through the window, and I was like, I couldn't talk. Like I was out of breath. Like I was like, you just feel it. It just feels a certain way. Mm-hmm. Like it's just.
The moment you texted me, I was like, holy cow, I get the vision. I could just imagine myself looking out those windows, and it's such a great location.
Look at this. This is just beautiful. And
it is.
A lot of studios, the big thing that I had to have more than one room, and I had to have showers. I had to have those things because I am a hot yoga girl. I love hot yoga. But there's also space for, you know, restorative and non-heated stuff. But
that's more my alley.
Yeah. So we're in this room. The room that
That's
we're
awesome.
in is the restorative one. But I'm really surprised at the sound.
Yeah.
Because you can't hear the outside world.
It is cool.
You can't hear anything. You can just hear a hum from whatever that is, but like you don't hear the cars, and we are right on.
I know, that's really surprising.
Yeah, we're right 116th and Range Line, so this is a really busy area.
You got a perfect place. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah, it's all
just all off intuition.
It's seriously like I'm trusting a lot with the universe right now, and so far it's been working out for me. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
You've put a lot into it, though. As far as, you know, you mentioned the word universe, like you've given back a lot, and I feel like that is a testament.
Yeah.
Regardless of what a listener believes in, I think it's important to realize, like, the good you give, you get.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing is, like, even the Steak and Shake thing. Like, this is something I really wanted, you know, so badly, and I wanted it to work out so badly, and I thought everything was going to work out, and I was going to do this.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't really trusting, like, there's a path for everyone. Like, you just got to really trust that you are on the right path. Instead of forcing something to happen that you think that you need to happen, just trust that you will end up in the right spot. Yeah. Everything's a stepping stone to get to where you're supposed to be. So I'm really trusting that, and all the little stepping stones that I've been crossing as of late.
I like that image.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We talked about your space. We talked about where you're heading with your business. We talked about where you've come from.
The name Sagehouse. This is kind of, so my dad like comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Like just in my life, because my dad, he was the coolest. I mean, still the coolest. But so I couldn't figure out the name, and it had to be perfect, right? When you're naming something this big, and you're investing everything and all your time and energy and all the things. So when my dad passed away, he was the main caregiver of my mother, who had dementia. She also passed away. Different story. So we had to figure out the bills for like the house and like all these things, because it was really sudden when he passed. Like he was ill, but we didn't think it was going to happen that quickly. So we were digging in his computer to like, he saved all his passwords, and his gas bill password was like fart123, like really, really funny. Like he's a really funny dude. And then I was having dinner with Brian, my husband, recently, and Brian was talking about, because we live in that house, like we bought the house after everything. Like I live in the house that I grew up in. That's a whole thing. But the bill is still under the name that my dad gave it, and it was under Sagehouse. And Brian said Sagehouse at dinner, and I was just like looking at him like, that's the name. Because this is like the house, like it is, each room is a different vibe. You were in our house, like it's the feeling, the vibe, everything.
That's awesome.
It's perfect, yes. Yeah, so that's where that name came from.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do to make it seem like a house?
So that's cool. So big thing with the walls, having the walls like super bare, like in the rooms, so that you're not like staring at, you know, random things. There will be a couple things that are in the rooms that you can stare at, but to kind of like clear your mind while you're in there. The front area is going to be called a living room. It's going to look like a little.
I'm glad you're actually doing all this stuff. That's sweet.
Yes, so it's gonna, and we have showers, like just like you're at home. You know, you need a shower. They're gonna be like little bathrooms. Like it's gonna be a bathroom and a shower. There's gonna be two.
That's
of them.
amazing.
Yeah, we're also gonna. I mean, our washer and dryer will be back there, and there'll be a cold plunge tub eventually back there too. So,
good.
Yes, exactly. So we have all these options. But I mean, even if you can see the doors and the hardware, that vibe was already kind of here with the previous owner. Just kind of digging a little deeper into that. And then there's gonna be this really cool like wall in this room for the teacher to like be in front of, and I'm gonna get this like really cool mural painted from like this artist that's in Broad Ripple. Super excited for that too. So just all these little, and all my plants will be here. So it'll feel homey. It'll feel like you're walking into someone's house, which is so funny because it's like an office building.
Yeah.
You just go up the stairs and you find this like little gym.
I think you're curating something like really special here because you could get a cult following from this where people on TikTok are like, oh my gosh, I went to this yoga experience in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
The Sagehouse.
Yep. And if we decide to expand and we'll just find another second floor somewhere to like have that same vibe, you know?
The less corporate you can make it feel, the better
exactly.
this will be.
That's
I think your vision is polished. That's amazing.
And I don't want to go that corporate route where, I mean, I want people to be able to show up as themselves in our house, you know? Like,
I mean, that's the point of yoga.
That's the whole, yes, exactly. Whatever your goal is with yoga, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, like every person that goes to a yoga class can be there for a different reason.
Yeah.
But they all showed up to that same space, and that's really, really cool to think about. You know, like everyone just showed up there, but you ask every single person in the room, and every single one could have a different reason.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a shipwreck. You got all these different people from all walks of life, but you're all there for the same thing. You just want to survive.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. And I found yoga, a friend of mine invited me to a class when I was pregnant with my daughter, because everyone tells pregnant ladies to do yoga. That's like a thing. Like they was always telling pregnant ladies to do yoga. But you listened
and you
showed up. But I did,
and
I felt there was just a connection. And I did everything wrong. Like I had the wrong mat. I had shoes on. I was wearing like running shorts. I didn't sign the waiver before I even got there. Like I kind of snuck into the room. Like I didn't even introduce myself when I walked in. And like all of that aside, like I still got something like really amazing out of it.
That's
I didn't
sweet.
feel judged. And I was with like 6 other pregnant ladies, so it was like a bonding experience because I wasn't around a lot of people who were pregnant. The teacher was awesome, but like that, I kept going back. Like
That's
I
amazing.
just decided like this. I felt you leave feeling good. Like you feel really amazing when you leave.
That's why I kept coming back.
Yeah.
Is I would not feel as anxious as I started out.
Yeah. Because you really work through stuff. Like you really let it out. Like you really get things out of your body.
What I am most frustrated about is when I leave, that feeling diminishes and I forget so easily how good that experience was.
Yeah.
So I'll like go 4 weeks without it and then be like, how did I forget how good of it?
Yeah.
So you've defeated that. You're in it every day. You're teaching classes.
Yes.
You can't forget.
Yeah.
I'm slowly working my way back into it to like create the habit that is yoga.
Yeah.
Because my life gets aligned when I stick to these mats more and more.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too is I have to make time for my practice too. So like I show up a certain way for all of these people and it takes from me. And for me to refill that, I have to go and take the time for myself as well. Which is hard to do when you're teaching.
I can imagine. Maybe
12,
6 classes.
12 classes a week, whatever.
Holy
I think
cow.
I've done. I think the most I've done, I think I did 32 in 2 weeks. Done 5 in one day, which is like I was a zombie afterwards because it really just drains you. Like you're giving so much of yourself, which I love everything that I do, but that's the side that people don't see. They're like, oh, you can do. I was like, I really can't. Like I really won't show up the way I want to. You know. You need to refill your own cup.
I can see, that is a very important thing. So yoga is a way you do that. What are some other ways you refill your cup?
Oh, I am a passionate walker. Like, I sometimes just wear my headphones so no one will talk to me, but there's no music
And
going
me too. That's the best.
I have like the big ones, the big, whatever, the new iPad or the iPhone, the Apple ones.
Apple ones.
So I have these big pink ones, of course, and I walk on them on all the time and with my sunglasses, so no one bothers me. Which I just really want to be by myself. You know, I'm a mom, and I spend all this time with people. So having some time to myself to just like breathe
and let it out.
And another thing is close your mouth when you're walking. Breathe through your nose. Like that was life changing too.
Have you read the book Breathe by James Nestor?
Yes, it changed me.
It changed my life.
And I did it. I was going on walks, and then I started closing my mouth, and I was getting out of breath, and I was like, I'm a yoga teacher, and I can't close my mouth when I walk.
What a powerful start to that book, where he's like, I had to close my nose for 10 days, right?
Yes.
And then almost like got physically ill from it.
Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
It changed my life. I'm so glad you read that.
It really did.
Please listen. I listened to it.
Close your mouth.
I listened to it on Audible, and so I would go for walks or on the motor. That's wild.
That's so crazy.
We were probably next to each other.
With our headphones on and our sunglasses.
Ignoring each other. That's important, though.
Yeah. I learned a lot doing that. My husband suffers. He has a really hard time sleeping. And that book changed his life.
Yeah.
Like
I have sleep apnea, very mild.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten a CPAP 3 different times and gotten so frustrated every single time that I throw it away or like donate it back.
Get back. Yeah.
Right now I'm taping my mouth but it's just like,
I'm terrified to do it.
we've strayed so far from our original human design. This area is supposed to be strong enough to let the air in and out, but it's...
but it's shrunk back. It's crazy to think. I feel like I've changed a little bit in my jawline since I've been closing my mouth too. That could just
Me
be
too. I use one of those Jawser sizer things.
Oh, really?
It's helped a lot.
Really? My brother's wife's mom, during Thanksgiving dinner, had this whole conversation with my husband about this like mouth guard thing that she wears that your tongue kind of sticks into. It looks so bizarre, but she swears by it. She was showing us all of her data from her sleep data.
Whoa!
Like, she has
so it's like
iPad.
integrated to technology too?
Yeah, it like picks up her breathing and everything. It's wild. She said it changed her life. So.
I need to look that up.
Yeah, it looks like a little tiny like piece of plastic, like some sort of bubble, and your tongue just kind of sits in it. I don't know how she falls asleep with it, but she swears by it, so she loves it.
My dentist made me like a plastic mold that is for my specific teeth, and it's got this hook, so it keeps my jaw out.
Yeah.
And that allows the air to flow.
Yeah.
But like, there's a million different solutions.
Yeah. Also, cleaning your like a neti pot, like cleaning your nose out. This is what my husband swears by.
I need to do that.
Yeah. So he said it was the most disgusting thing the first time he did it, and he was doing it every day, and now he's like every few days, but. He sprays this nasal thing up his nose and lets everything drain out, and he sleeps so much better. I mean, he was about to go to the doctor to like help me.
My allergies are terrible, so
Yeah,
that could
get that
probably
out.
help a lot. Remind me that after. I'm going to bug you about that.
He said it's really gross the first time you do it, just so you know.
I'm down.
I'll try anything.
I'm for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so backtrack to you were at Starbucks.
Yeah.
You had a session, probably not at Yoga 6, just a yoga class.
Yeah. That was so Invoke, which is a pretty large name in the Indy area, is where I still practice there today. Actually,
Nice.
I was there earlier today. I still love that vibe and that studio and everything. But that's where I started. When I was being moved around Starbucks, it got really hard for me to get to class. They had like classes like 5:45. So I'm like, I was in Fishers, like driving from Fishers all the way to 86 and Ditch.
Goodness.
Like, I couldn't do it. So then when I finally got planted in my store, and this shift supervisor was like, there's a yoga studio opening right over here. And I was like, well, shit, like, what am I going to do? Say no to that?
Yeah.
And honestly, I wasn't into hot yoga at the time. So that kind of changed my world. I went to a class that there was like 40 people and our mats were like an inch apart. And then they closed for COVID. So that was rough.
That's all you knew.
It was really rough. I do remember when we got to finally go back into the studio, one of these people that I like connected with when I first went in there, she like was like sobbing during class. Like, because she had been stuck at home with her kids, like not in the outside world. And when she was able to like leave, she like didn't know how to interact with people, and she just had like this real emotional release, like just crying. And I was like, wow, like, and that, I guess I was so immune to that because I'd been around people for that whole time, and I was like, wow, this really affected a lot of people. And that was And I started as a member there. And then I was certified to teach yoga in 2020. I had a private teacher who was also kind of mixed in with that studio named
All
Juan.
the while balancing a kid, newborn, two kids of that kid, and a husband.
Yes. And honestly, Brian has made everything work. My husband, he's a trooper. He stayed home with the kids for a little bit. So during COVID, it was him with the kids at home.
That's amazing.
He started working from home. We found a place for the kids to go because we wanted them to socialize. That's what we were worried about too. Like all these, you were in college. Your college days and junior year are probably much different than your freshman and sophomore, that connection that you don't have with people, so.
Well, we were like bandits under the cover. We threw a lot of parties without getting caught, but towards the end of it, it got really dark.
Yeah.
That's when everything changed.
Yeah. So we didn't want the kids to be, we want to make sure they had their socialization, during that time, because those are really, important years of their life. So we started there was a church nearby that it was small enough groups where the kids wouldn't have to wear masks. My son was 18 months old at the time. We're not going to put a mask on a baby. It's not going to work. It's just, they're going to trade masks. It's going to be disgusting. So we found a place. It was great. So Brian, my husband, was able to work from home. The kids got to go to preschool, and I just worked my butt off at Starbucks. Yeah. So that's where we ended up. And then when I was certified, the manager at the time at the studio, I was like, hey, do you need like a sub? And she's like, I've been waiting. So she took me on. I wasn't interviewed. I wasn't auditioned, anything. They just hired me on the spot because I've been so loyal.
That's amazing.
And practiced there. And then their lead teacher, Georgia, we were supposed to have like a session where we meet up and like go over stuff. And we just sat down and she went through my notebook and she was like, you're good. And I was like, cool.
That's awesome.
my notebook of flows and everything.
Yeah.
She's like, this is great. You're fine. So they offered me, I wanted to sub, that's what I was signing up for, but they offered me to teach classes Friday nights and Sunday mornings, which no one wants.
Yeah.
No one wants those classes, except me. And I'm teaching them to this day.
That's
I'm still
amazing.
teaching 4 years later.
You can get really far in life by just taking on the burdens no one else
Exactly.
wants.
I mean, the thing that said is like, you can't ask for subs because no one will sub your class. And I was like, that's fine. Like, but I also grew those classes. So the Sunday class, my Sunday class, you have like your favorite class. There's always a favorite. But my Sunday at 9:30 right now is it's waitlisted every week. Like every week there's like 40 people signed up and I can only let 30 in. So it's pretty wild. And then my Friday classes, the restorative class I teach Friday, it's a candlelight restore. It used to be 6 people.
Wow.
Yeah, like every week I was like thinking, when are they going to cut this class? Because no one's showing up. And then over time, I took some hard feedback from a lot of people that didn't really enjoy my classes. Honestly,
Interesting.
I moved too quickly. I talked too fast, which I'm a fast talker.
What was the format for people giving that feedback? Was it typically
restorative classes?
No, reviews online?
Oh, so I talked to people face to face, which was hard, and then I do have access to like reviews and stuff. So I did get a lot of reviews like that.
Good for you for being open. I think that helped.
It's hard because
I'm terrible at it.
it's hard because you want to be yourself and you want everyone to love you, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want. I'm a people pleaser. I'll admit it.
Same.
But I can tell. But when you put so much effort and how much time it takes to especially when you're first starting out as a teacher, how much time it takes to make a class for an hour long, and then someone's like, I don't like your music, I won't come back to your class. And you're just like, oh. I was playing lots of Red Hot Chili Peppers during restorative classes, and that was kind of frowned upon. So I had to change that up a little bit. Also, the restorative class at Yoga 6 isn't a normal restorative class. There's movement, more movement in their structure. So that's what I was trying to follow. And then I found out people did not want that because anywhere else you take restorative classes, it's completely different than this.
Is it just laying there mainly?
I mean, it's like a few poses. You've taken my restore before.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of decided we're going to do restore how people know it as and not how the structure that we're given.
Absolutely.
And once we did that, all of the classes started growing because this is what people really needed. So we have that high intensity, but we also have that restorative chill down to the ground. I mean, you need the best of both worlds. You need to find movement in your life, but you also need to find rest. Rest is also important. Yeah, which I need to tell myself that a little more because
that's hard. Why we're here.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what's it like to, from the perspective of an artist, see your hand changing yoga classes and then get that positive feedback from the community? How has that felt?
Oh, much better. I mean, not everyone's going to like you, and I think I've grown that way. When you start out, you really want, you want everyone to show up for your classes, you want your classes to grow, all these things. And when I said, screw it, when I was like, I'm getting good feedback and bad feedback, I can't make everyone happy. Yeah. I'm just going to do what I think is right. And when I leaned really far into that, just to see how that went, everything else has fallen into place. Yeah. My people have found me. The people that enjoy my classes continue to come, and the people that don't really enjoy my classes find other classes that work for them. And that's totally okay. Yeah. Being totally okay with that.
This is my version of screw it.
Yeah.
I waited around for so long thinking of well, what's the perfect YouTube channel I can make to inspire all these kids? Yeah. I just had to start something at some point.
Yeah, and jump.
I know. So.
Yeah. So I think of, have you seen Fight Club?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Edward Norton's in like a cave and there's a little penguin. Do you remember this? It's like in his head, okay? Was it Edward Norton? Yeah, Edward Norton.
Yes, of course.
Okay, yeah,
That's
it's like,
the right
come on,
person.
I got that right.
I don't
Okay.
remember the penguin. I don't remember.
Okay, so if I made this up, this is crazy because my whole...
It's impressive.
Yes. So there's something with him in a cave, and it's like an ice cave, and there's a little penguin that says slide.
Okay.
Like, it's like telling him to just jump and like do it. And like sometimes when I get like into a place where I'm like, am I supposed to do this? I think of that little
Just
penguin and
slide.
just go for it. Why
I need
not?
to watch that. I wish I knew that scene, but I love that movie.
I'm probably gonna watch that movie now again.
Good.
I love that movie. The author.
fantastic.
Have you read any of his other? Oh my gosh, Chuck Palahniuk.
One of the last questions I asked is book recommendations.
Okay.
So which other book by Chuck would you recommend?
So he writes some crazy things.
Clearly.
Like, I know, Fight Club's
Yeah.
pretty out there, but like, there's more.
That's
There's
awesome.
more.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, it's hot. It's very entertaining. Okay, so he wrote a book called Diary. Okay, so Diary was a book that changed me and my view on the world and kind of how people connect. So
In a good or bad way?
in a good way. I had a friend at Steak and Shake whose name was Lucas as well, which is funny.
They're all Lucas.
I know. So Luke, he's great now. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but I know if we like ran into each other, it'd be like, it would be great. But he like let me borrow this book, and like after I read it, I was like, I'll buy this from you. Like I need to keep this for forever. So yeah, it's really cool. It's like different people going through different lives, without spoiling everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is pretty cool.
That's sweet.
It's like he's really out there. There's some raunchy things that he writes about, but
Great.
it's all good. It's all good.
People need that. We
Yeah.
need to be thrust out of our own personal lives at points.
Yeah, Invisible Monsters is another one. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah.
Sweet. My version of that was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Okay, yeah.
It got me out of my rut.
Oh,
So it was a
awesome.
good book for that.
I'll add that to my list.
Yeah.
I've heard of that book.
It's super
Yeah.
good. It's just Tinder. It's like a little kid goes on a journey and he tends to sheep, and then he's trying to figure out how to get out and see the real world because
Okay.
he has these dreams that keep driving him.
Yeah.
And then like
What else is out there?
you got to read it.
Okay, I'm gonna add it to my list for sure.
I feel like we're at a pretty natural wrap up to this. The last thing I ask is for like an elevator pitch from you to the audience for any like new yoga instructors, anyone that's listening for the first time and is interested in your craft.
Yeah.
How could you inspire people to try what you've done?
Okay. If you have that itch, scratch it. I think a lot of people put all these what ifs, walls, all these barriers up. And when I made that decision in 2020 to like, I didn't even think I was going to teach, honestly. For me to get my certification, after my crazy days that I had at Starbucks, I would get on my laptop for like 2 to 3 hours every night. And I was like putting my daughter to bed. So I'm like laying in her bed on my laptop with her as she's falling asleep.
Yeah.
Some days I fell asleep, but that's how I got certified. And then I met with a local teacher so that I would have like a one-on-one session. I met with her at a park because it was COVID. We couldn't go anywhere else. So that's how like that, like you can't let anything get in your way.
Yeah.
Like if you're supposed to do it, that path's going to show up and you just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't think they have enough to give to other people. Because I haven't had something crazy in my life happen. I haven't dealt with death. I haven't dealt with loss or all these things. It doesn't have to be that. You can still show up in a different way. But the barriers that you gotta let it. You gotta slide.
You gotta slide.
You gotta slide.
I love how you're up.
Yeah, you gotta go. Yeah.
Well, I think you're a person who's been thrown a lot, if not everything and you've still chosen to move through it and not try and tiptoe around it. And I think that's a huge testament to the type of person you are. So thank you for this. And,
thank you.
Coming on the show and talking about what you've done.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hug?
Yes, of course. Ugh.
We'll call it there. Thanks so much. That's cool.